Hello, this is Greg Gillette joining.
Hey, Greg.
Howdy.
All right, it looks like we've got everybody here now, I think.
I saw Ned on there. Do I need on there?
Let's see. Oh, no, maybe you're right. She's not on there.
Let's wait just a couple more minutes and we'll get started and she can hop on when she gets ready.
Okay.
You ready, AC?
Yep. Let's let me go ahead and all right, and you can go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay, I've got gavel here. I'd like to call this meeting of Timberville Town Council to order, June 11, 2020. And of course, it's our meeting will be conducted electronically, and it's our first, hopefully, of just a few electronic meetings. We can get back to meeting in person again real soon. AC, you want to go ahead through the authority to conduct a meeting electronically, all those stipulations, so everyone understands them first?
Sure. Bear with me as I read through this stuff. Tonight's meeting is being conducted electronically to address essential business of the town of Timberville. Authority to conduct the meeting in this manner is provided through the declaration of local emergency, resolution authorizing electronic public meetings, and emergency ordinance to address continuity of operations, all of which were adopted at a special meeting of the Timberville Town Council on May 26, 2020. These orders are in effect for 6 months from the date of adoption. Members of the Timberville Town Council, Planning Commission, town staff, and special guests are participating in tonight's meeting using the Zoom conferencing platform. The meeting is being streamed for public viewing on the Town of Timberville's YouTube channel. Required notifications of this meeting were sent by email and through postings on the town's social media outlets. There will be 2 public hearings during tonight's meeting, both of which have been properly advertised. Comments from the public were requested to be in writing prior to the hearings, but there will also be a phone line available during the hearings for comment. And the phone number to call in if people need to do that is 540-896-7058. You'll see that Cecilia is on our meeting tonight, and so she's going to be manning the phones if calls start coming in. And any votes that are taken tonight will be conducted by roll call and will be recorded in the minutes. And as part of the requirements for doing this, we're supposed to announce who all's in this meeting. So I'm going to go through real quick here. I don't know that Juanita has come in yet. I don't see her anywhere yet. So for the town council, we have Mayor Don DeLauder, Vice Mayor Bob Blosser, Sharon Jones, Ned Overton, Juanita Price, Natalie Sherlock, and Carl Turner. I'm sorry, Juanita's not here yet. Planning Commission, we have Kevin Hinkle, Sarah Berry, Greg Gillette. Let's see, I didn't see Ben anywhere.
Yeah, Stacy.
And yeah, Stacy Woods. I don't see Ben. Ben Wilson's not on here, I don't believe, is he?
Not yet.
Okay. And Carl Magenhofer contacted me earlier today and said that he wouldn't be able to make it tonight. The legal counsel is Quentin Callahan. And then we have, with the town staff, we have the treasurer/clerk, Melinda Cleaver, Chief Dodd's on here, and then Cecilia Valdez, the marketing and events coordinator for the town. And let's see. Any of the participants have any questions about the format tonight? Issues, everybody can hear, I'm assuming anyway.
AC, can you say the phone number for people to call in one more time?
Okay, it's sure, it's 540-896-7058. And actually, when we get to the point where we have the public hearings, I've got it, I'm going to post it up on the screen so everybody can see it much easier at that point.
AC, we can hear you real
Perfect,
well,
thank you.
and the video looks good too.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
The one thing I'd just like to mention, AC, is since we're doing roll call, let's go ahead and make it easy on Melinda. Let's go ahead like we're sitting at the table from Carl to Bob, Natalie, Ned, and Sharon just around. Let's just keep that same order so Melinda can keep up with it when we start voting on things. Just make it easier on us. Okay?
Sounds
That all
good.
you have on that?
I think I've got everything on that, and Quentin can correct me if there's anything else that I need to add, but I believe I got everything.
Okay. Okay, the first thing we have, as we always do, is we have approval of our minutes. As everyone was aware, we had a meeting on May 26th. And that's when we did the adoption of the emergency ordinance and resolution. And we have to have a motion to approve those minutes. If anyone's had a chance to read them, have any questions or comments, now is the time. And if not, we'll need a motion to approve.
If there's no questions or corrections, I make a motion to approve those minutes.
We have a first, we have a second.
A second?
Okay, Natalie. Okay, all those in favor, let's go Carl and around the table.
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Ned, and Sharon.
Yeah.
And Ned's on mute, I think.
How about now?
There you go.
I vote yes.
Okay, thank you, Ned. Okay, so that takes care of that. Everyone also received their treasurer's report. It shows our account balances and so forth, our loan balances from Melinda, and also with the updated park projects funds. As you can see, the work crew has basically completed the dog park, and we had monies left over so they could put barriers around and enclose the entire playground equipment. So they did a very good job of stretching that 10,000 donation a long way with pilgrims. Anybody have any questions for Melinda on the account balances or the park improvement expenditures?
Don, the only thing I wanted to note was the change in the interest rate for the money market account.
Yes, we're no longer getting a It's
It was-
dropped a little bit, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, it was 2.02% and now is 0.85%.
Okay. Thank you on that. So that takes care of the treasurer's report. The next thing we had were a list of bills for payment. Again, everyone received those in your packet. I'm sure you went through them. Is there any questions on any of the bills that are listed on the bills for payment? Okay, having no questions on the bills, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve bills for payment?
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, around the table again, Carl?
No discussion.
You have no discussion.
Okay, yes.
I'm assuming there's no discussion. Okay, and then Bob,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Ned, and Sharon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's keep on moving. Adoption of the motor vehicle code. Quentin, I know we do this every year, the adoption. Do you want us to give us a little, the reasoning why we do this?
Sorry. It's just something that has to be renewed every year. Honestly, I couldn't explain it any more than that.
I mean, it basically tells us it's for the chief's use, and it basically holds us to my understanding is the Code of Virginia motor vehicle rules and things like that, correct, AC? Where AC went?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adopting whatever the most recent version of the laws in the Commonwealth of Virginia are for inclusion within the town ordinance. So those highway and motor vehicle laws can change when we have new versions of laws that goes to the General Assembly, and they're effective July 1st every year. So all we're doing is saying the laws on the books with the state of Virginia are the same thing that's adopted within the town of Timberville.
Okay. Thank you, Quentin. Okay, if there's no questions, we'll need a motion to approve that.
I'll move that we approve the amendment.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, let's go around the table, starting with Carl.
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Ned?
Yes.
And Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep on going here. AC, we have the lot line revision. I know this went before the Planning Commission, and why don't you update us on that?
Okay, so yeah, the Planning Commission discussed this at their meeting last week. We received a request to vacate a lot line. This is the property on North Main Street, just close to the museum, opposite side of Main Street of the museum. The house was torn down, and I don't know if everybody can see the graphic on the screen there that shows the plat. The house was torn down on that, the lot where it says combined area 24,913 square feet. That was the lot that the house was on that was torn down. And Mrs. Conley, her house is the house number 197. So she's asking that the lot line, the dashed line that runs east to west, be vacated to make those two non-conforming lots into one conforming lot. And the like I said, Plan Commission reviewed this at their meeting last week, and their recommendation to the town council is to approve the lot line revision.
Okay. If I have any questions, AC, it seems to make sense. Like you said, two non-conforming lots, making it a conforming lot. So if there's no questions, we'll need that motion to approve this.
I'll move that we approve the lot line revision.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on a lot line revision? Okay, seeing none, we'll go around the table. Carl?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Ned,
Yes.
and Sharon.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. And now we're actually going through this pretty quick. We're down to the rezoning public hearing. We got about a minute to wait, don't we, AC?
That's correct.
Okay, we can get started late, we can't get started early. So let's just wait a few seconds. The one thing I can talk about is AC, I think he mentioned in his notes to us, we were expecting the final version of the park plans to come in. It came in, I can't remember, yesterday evening, I think, AC, perhaps?
That's
So
right.
AC has some copies down there for the councilman or anyone, council folk, or anyone who's interested in seeing it. And at some point, we need to vote on the final part so the AC and the front office and field crew can get working on the plan. So please go by and check that out. Maybe we can get it on next week's meeting when we do our approval of the budget, perhaps. Might be too early, but we can always try. I see Matt's joined us. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. AC, I think it's 7:15 now, 7:16. Okay, you want to go ahead and talk about this application for rezoning?
All righty, let me throw another graphic up here on the screen. All right, so we received a rezoning application from Matt Saverance, and it's for a 2-acre parcel of property located off of American Legion Drive. The request is to have it rezoned from its current R5 zoning designation and have it rezoned to an R2 designation. On the graphic, you can see it's the parcel that's outlined in kind of the pinkish purplish color there. It backs up or it adjoins properties there in Legion Hills development, and then on the northwest side, it adjoins property that is zoned R2. So the Planning Commission reviewed this at the meeting last week and asked Matt quite a few questions. And I'm going to let Matt go ahead and make any comments that he wants to make. And we can let the council ask him questions if need be, and then we can open it up for the public hearing part of it, for the public comment part of it. One thing before I let Matt take over here, one of the questions that came up during the Planning Commission review of this was about the bridge structure down at the bottom of American Legion Drive, how narrow it is. And so I contacted VDOT, got a response from VDOT today, actually. And I'm told that what they're planning to do is the culvert, they said, is wide enough to allow for more riding surface. So they said that the existing asphalt width is 14 feet 6 inches, and it's kind of prepped to go to, on the edges, they kind of got some, looks kind of like fill asphalt that's going to go, takes it out to about 17 feet 3 inches. And they said they maybe able to get up to 18 feet at the culvert, which is the normal width range for a secondary road. So that was the response that the Planning Commission, or the response to the Planning Commission's question from the meeting last week. So, you know, with what Matt is wanting to do there, and then also with the other large piece of property off of Roxbury that the council discussed recently, with more traffic being added there, that's definitely an item of concern. But VDOT says that they can get the asphalt to the 18 feet, which is the normal width range for a secondary road.
Okay.
So I will, can turn it over to Matt now.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you guys for having me again. That's great that VDOT is looking to improve that spot of the road, because I know we all have issues there. Yeah, so we want to rezone from the R5 to the R2 to turn the 2 acres into 6 lots. And essentially plans are to do single family dwellings pretty much exactly like Legion Hills. So yeah, I mean, it's zoned R2 now. We wouldn't be able to put, as we could build on it as it is right now, we would only, it would just take, it would be more involved and less houses would go on it. So we would like to do similar to what we're doing down the road as far as splitting the property up. And rather than multifamily, we are interested in doing single family. I know somebody had brought that up before. So essentially it's going to be an extension of Legion Hill subdivision.
So AC, I know Matt had said today, and he said in the Plan Commission meeting, its intention is to do single family homes. I'm assuming we didn't go R1 because it would have been spot zoning. There's no R1 around there. Is that the reason for it?
Right, that's correct. There is no R1 zoned property around there. And my understanding is that would be spot zoning if we tried to zone that one single piece of property into that designation.
Okay. Okay. Does the council have any questions for Matt about the zoning? I will say that during the meeting, I had the idea that there might be a proffer along with this saying single family homes, but I did not see it in here. I don't know if that's coming or if that was just a talking point or not.
Now, what is that again?
I thought I kind of had the impression when you were talking, because you were saying it was single family homes. I think the Planning Commission might have talked about, maybe I'm misreading, about there might be a proffer so saying that. Was that an intention, or was that just a talking point the other day?
So I say intentions, but by all means, if if majority, some people were saying they don't want to see townhouses and stuff go up there. We have no intentions of doing townhouses and connecting them all. We'd like to do 6 individual lots, and as R2 is zoned single family or multifamily, if there's something we can do on our end to solidify single family versus anything else, we would like to do that.
Okay. Quentin, I know that's typically with a proffer. How does he do that for the town? Because he's been talking about single families from day one on this.
I mean, certainly he would have, he'd have the ability to do all the single family homes under the R2. That's what his intention is. He hasn't submitted it with a proffer, and that's not how it went through Planning Commission. There wasn't any proffer attached to it.
Okay. Okay.
When we first put everything for rezoning, we wanted to go from the R5 to the R2. We didn't even think of people not wanting something fully connected or not wanting a multifamily. But with hearing that now, by all means, I'm not familiar with the terminology you guys are using, but if we need to do something to state that it will be single family and that will help the process go through, we didn't envision building on it as quick as we're hoping to. So with that said, the vision is single family homes, exactly like Legion Hills. And yeah, we're more than willing to do whatever is needed to state that in the rezoning process.
Okay. Council, have any questions for Matt?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And it's probably for Quentin. How do we assist Matt in him documenting this request for single family homes, for him to commit to writing what he's saying verbally?
Well, from my point of view, the way that it went through the Planning Commission was a request to go from the R5 to the R2, and there weren't any proffers attached to it. That's how it passed Planning Commission. but it should be in the minutes that it was well documented. The intention through Planning Commission was for it to be only single family units. And that's what will be in the minutes of tonight's meeting as well, is that the intention is only for single family units. I think if Matt and his company are going to shift gears and go to multifamily, they would need to come back and get permission from council, even though it's zoned that way. The minutes and the intentionality are reflected in the minutes, that it would only be single family as is.
Okay, thank you, Quentin.
Question for Quentin, would that survive if Matt were to sell that property? Would that also encumber the next owner of the property, or is it just to Matt?
Well, the application has been approved by Planning Commission for it to be rezoned to R2 with a specific understanding it's going to be for single family lots. So that would be the same binding effect on any successors and interests outside of Matt.
Actually, Quentin, let me jump in there. The Planning Commission just reviewed the request. They can't actually, because tonight's a joint public hearing between the Planning Commission and the council. So the Planning Commission hasn't actually made a recommendation yet. They can't do it until after tonight. They can, and kind of leads into what happens after the public hearing part closes. Planning Commission can take a few minutes to discuss it, or they can table it until I think the meeting's next week is a regular meeting, and they could discuss it then, make a recommendation, formulate a recommendation to council at that point. But they haven't actually voted on anything because they have to wait till after this public hearing to do that. So
okay, I got you.
yeah, so we're still fairly early on in this process as far as the voting and approvals go.
Okay.
Usually we send them out of the room and they discuss it and come back with a recommendation, but it's kind of hard to send them out of the room or on this video thing.
One other question.
Yes, sir.
The property, the dwelling that's currently on the property, is that to remain?
Yes, that's to remain. It would be on the sixth lot, essentially. We would like to use that as a rental. We're actually going to live in that property as of right now. So that one will remain, but I don't know, years down the road, if we were to end up taking that property down, I guess really if it's sitting on its own lot, that shouldn't be an issue with putting a single family home there as well.
So the question would be, with assuming it would create new lots, how would that affect setback requirements? Because it appears the dwelling is fairly close to the one of the lines.
The dwelling is most definitely close to one of the lines. I guess it was grandfathered in. It's about 3 feet off the back line. So essentially it would still have the 75-foot road frontage, and the new property would be built to your guys' new requirements.
Yeah, if that property is, if the existing home is demolished and you build a new property there, it would have to conform with all of the setback requirements.
Gotcha.
And I think it could be consistent in response to Bob and Don's question about the proffer. It sounds to me like what Matt really does want to make a proffer on the single family thing. So maybe that's something I could talk about with the Planning Commission when they go to make the recommendation, is that we include a written proffer. So then it's well documented if in fact there were to be some successor and interest down the road.
By all means, we're down with that for sure.
Okay. Okay, any more council before we open up to see if there's any public comment? Okay, see, have you had any public comments so far?
So I had one adjacent property owner. As with any of these types of scenarios, we have to send mailings out to the adjacent property owners to notify them of the request. And so I had a comment from Aaron, Aaron Andes, who was at 3020 Legion Way. And Mr. Andes was, he said he wasn't in favor of a rezoning if it would mean multifamily homes. He said he didn't really want anything built in his backyard, but he understands that you know, you can't do that. But he said he just didn't want any multifamily. And I think obviously that's been addressed here at some length tonight. So
Yeah,
that's the only one I've received so far.
And who is that again?
3020. That's the first one right on the corner, right on the first corner as you turn on the Legion.
I don't particularly know him, but he keeps his lawn immaculate, and I can completely understand where he is coming from as far as not wanting multifamily. Look, by all means, we want to state in this and in any other way that we would like to just do single family. My property adjoins this property right now, so it's literally in my backyard too. I would personally not like to have multifamily as well. So you know, if that's the only thing that people are worried about, I can completely understand that for sure.
Okay.
And
Seems like we Quentin can work with the planning commission to get that verbiage or.
I just want to be really clear. Because I'm looking at the LDRs, and maybe I have an older version. AC, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but with R5, the current zoning, the multifamily would be permitted anyway right now. So we're actually limiting some of the uses, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent, you have. I mean, with R5, you'd have to submit a master plan. So right. You know, things balance out to a certain extent because R5 requires a certain amount of open space, different things like that. So yeah, it gets comparison is kind of hard sometimes, but yeah, it does take it down. It limits it in the density, changing it from R5 to R2 for sure.
Right.
So you say, how long do we wait? You said there was a small.
The delay is not very long. We might be at 15-second delay. So, I don't see anybody on the phone lines.
Okay.
So, if you want to give it just another couple seconds, and then it doesn't sound like we have any public comment coming in telephonically anyway.
Okay. I'll give it a few more seconds, and then I'll close the public comment. Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public comment. Anybody else have any more questions for Matt? It seems like everyone's in agreement that, and just to memorialize it, we'll get something in writing from Matt saying that what his intentions are. And I think everybody is happy with that. And I guess with that said, can the planning commission make a recommendation yet based on that, or do we have to wait, AC, until we receive that?
I would ask, it's probably a better question for Quentin.
I think we need to, the planning commission can do it electronically. I think we wait until we get something in writing and have the planning commission make a recommendation to the council based on what they see in writing from Matt.
Okay. Okay, so Kevin, I guess you guys will get on that for me and for the council, and then we'll get back together with your recommendation. And we're meeting, I guess next week's probably too soon, AC? Next, whenever we're going to do the final budget approval. You're on mute on me.
Next Wednesday will be the regular meeting date for the planning commission meeting. And then we were looking at next Thursday for a follow-up meeting for budget approval.
So I guess it's possible to bring it up that, because we don't have to advertise anymore. We can actually vote on it then, right? Since we already had public comment.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if everything goes well, we could possibly vote on this next Thursday also. Okay.
We'll take one for us to write this down.
Great. So just so I'm understanding right, is that next Thursday you guys are saying you could vote on this?
Next Wednesday, the planning commission's gonna meet so they can give a recommendation, possibly give a recommendation next Thursday for us.
Okay, so I guess what exactly is it that you need from me in writing to state single family home?
I think Quentin and AC and Kevin get together and they can give you a call.
Okay, great.
That work for you?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know exactly what to say either, but I do know that people, there's a way to memorialize that stuff, kind of stuff.
Don, I got a request. Would the council prefer, besides the writing, I am assuming that you want a proffer?
Well, that's basically what it ends up being. When you write it down, I think the technical term is the proffer, but yeah.
All right, well, I had suggested to Matt the first time we met that the council would probably want one of those, so that's the reason. I just want to make sure the technicality was there.
That's it. I mean, we just,
Gotcha.
since he was saying what he intended to do, it's just nice to have it in writing, and Quentin and AC can work together on that. Okay? So planning commission, I guess you can hang out if you want to, or you can drop off, or Matt, you can hang out if you want to too. We got a budget to talk about, and then we'll be done. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
Hey, I appreciate your guys' time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
See you, Kevin.
I'm out
Okay.
too. Thank you.
Okay, Stacy.
See you, Stacy.
See ya.
AC, okay, we're well into our 7:20, so we're good on that. The public hearing for the budget or presentation of the budget, as everyone's seen on AC's emails, not knowing our revenue stream and where it's going to be with the pandemic issues we're going through, it doesn't appear it's going to impact the town too awful bad, but you really don't know. So basically, AC, you go ahead and tell them what you've done. I think everyone knows, but just go over that real quick.
Okay. So let me, so here's the budget ad that was in the Daily News Record. And what I'm going to be presenting tonight is a proposed balanced budget for the fiscal year that will begin on July 1st, 2020 and end on June 30th, 2021. So it'll be fiscal year 2020 to 2021. First, I'd like to thank the front office team members and the department heads for their work on the proposed budget. This version of the proposed budget is pretty slim and contains no rate or fee increases, while a 3% increase in salaries is proposed. The first drafts of the budget included capital projects and expenditures when the COVID pandemic hit, and sensing a fairly high level of uncertainty on how the economy will fare in the long term, we went back through and reworked the budget by removing most of the capital expenditures. We left some capital improvements for the park in the budget, as Pilgrim's Pride and Cargill are still committed to funding those improvements. And as we track the town's financial situation through the year, there could be potential to revisit the capital expenditures at the mid-year mark. We can kind of see what's going on at that time, how our town finances are going, what the revenues are looking like. And if need be, we could, if we want to put capital projects back in there at, say, the mid-year mark, we could just do that through a budget amendment.
Correct. I mean, by that, hopefully by mid-year, we'll have a good idea how everything is going. And I do think we need to get together and have presentations from the police chief and the maintenance crew and AC and front staff of what they feel they need. And I think that needs to happen, but I think right now it's probably a little premature, not knowing where we're going to be standing. And I don't know if delaying it for a few months is going to hurt too awful much anyhow.
Right.
So anyone have any questions for AC on the? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me finish up here real quick, Don. The budget shows $106,998 in transfers from savings to make it balance, which is kind of a typical practice that we have. The budget also includes $110,000 in depreciation, $46,000 in water expenditures, and $64,000 in sewer expenditures. So if we could remove the depreciation from the equation, then we wouldn't need to show any transfers from savings to cover our expenses. The budget being presented is $255,727 less than the current fiscal year's budget, which equates to a 10.77% decrease. And that's a brief overview of everything without getting into specific line items or anything more detailed. So does council have any questions or comments before the mayor opens it up for the public hearing?
Okay, then we'll go ahead and open up to the public hearing. I don't know if.
Wait a minute, I have, Don,
Okay, good.
I have, no, by what you sent us out, AC, all of our donations stayed the same, correct?
Are you referring, when you say donations, are you talking about the donations that the town makes or the donations that
Yeah.
we're receiving?
The donations that the town gives.
Right, we didn't change any of that.
Okay,
That all stayed the same. That all stayed level like it was last year.
okay, correct.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I guess we'll open up to, put that number back up, AC, and we'll wait a few minutes and see if, I don't know if did you have anything in writing, and someone sent in anything in writing prior, AC?
No, I didn't. I haven't received any kind of written comments to the budget.
Okay. So we'll give it about a minute or so, and then again, remind me, AC, we don't vote on it today. We have our public hearing, and then we wait until the next meeting, a week, to have our actual vote. Is that correct?
Right. You have to wait 7 days before you can vote, take action on adopting the budget.
Okay. I guess there's no public comment, AC?
Not seeing anything. No phone calls. The phones aren't ringing or anything, so.
Okay. Well, I guess, have I waited long enough, you think?
I would think so. With as short as the delay is on the live stream, anybody that had questions would definitely have had time at this point to phone in.
Go ahead and close the public comment section. The council have any more questions on it? Again, thank everyone for attending. I hope we only have maybe August. We can get back to some sort of in-person type meeting. July is probably too wishful thinking, but maybe August we can get back to some in-person conversations, because that what needs to happen with some of these budget items. So AC, I guess maybe next Thursday, we're definitely going to have a meeting to approve the budget. We can maybe slide in a brief discussion. I'm going to have comments on the park plan, and then hopefully Kevin and you and Quentin have something so they can get the approval or their recommendations. Who's not approval, but their recommendation on the lot or the rezoning.
Right. 7 o'clock for everybody next Thursday.
It's as good for me as any.
Most people don't have a whole lot going on right now, so.
Okay.
What's the calendar date on that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
What's the calendar date on that?
That will be the 18th. Yeah, the 18th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, gals, thanks for attending. I wish we were in person, but hopefully it won't be too long. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Don.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. Yeah, look at that. You've got my big gavel here. Meeting adjourned.
Thank
Ned.
you.